Punta Gorda is the next stop on the mission. Like Ryan's brother Ian, a man named Alsama Cruz was an important member of this community.
Alsama was in my very first course that I taught with my school when I went in 2003. And he was there then. And then he was there in another course that I did with the charity, and another course that I did with the charity, and we made him an instructor, and he went on to teach. And he was the Red Cross go-to person in Punta Gorda.
Alsama is proof that knowledge can become a legacy. In 2011, he passed away. But the life-saving skills he learned live on.
Mr. Cruz, he was a very friendly person. Everyone in my town, they know Mr. Cruz.
So here's this guy that had no first aid training, took first aid training from a guy that we taught, took an instructor's course from a guy that we taught, and is now teaching with me in a developing country in Central America. Essentially, we influenced everything that this guy had up to this point. We were never ever there and directly taught him. And that's exactly what we want. We want that sustainability.
It went down from Darrell to Mr. Cruz, and then Mr. Cruz has trained me. And now I'm still in the business of doing first aid. I train people from Corozal to Toledo, which is the length of the country. And roughly I've trained over 500 people. We have like the banana farm. They would request our training. We do different communities. And this is groups we train in each communities. So it's roughly over 500, and I'm still continuing my training.
Our motto is, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So then when we're back in Canada shoveling our driveways, the group that we've trained are now teaching others in the country without us actually being there. And it just snowballs, and it snowballs, and it snowballs.
The team starts the long trip to Punta Gorda from the Belize City Municipal Airport. It's a small airport on the coast, leaving no room for error on takeoff. You won't see jumbo jets landing here. Today, the crew is flying with Maya Island Air in a single-engine Cessna Caravan. The low-level flight will give them a bird's-eye view of the beautiful Belizean landscape.
The flight to PG is really nice. It flies right along the coast, and as a result, it's just breathtaking. Now, off to the right, you can see the mountain range called the Sleeping Giant. And the only drawback is that being in the aircraft that we're in, we have to fly below the weather. And so on the way, we got some pretty nasty rain.
It can get pretty turbulent. It gets pretty bumpy, and seeing the gray clouds out the window and rain coming down, it's scary.
During the flight, the pilot will make several stops at small towns along the way to Punta Gorda. Arriving safely at their destination, the flight felt more like being on a bus than on a plane. It's only a one-night stay, but the training they will provide is important to this remote community. Nobody will be unpacking, because tomorrow they do it all again on the way to San Pedro.
In the back of your mind, you're thinking about what are things going to be like tomorrow? I got to stay on top of my game and make sure we're ready to start this course and to get things done.
Four days into the mission, the team wakes up in Punta Gorda, a small town with less than 6,000 people. It's early in the morning, but the streets are busy with people going to work or school.
What I like about visiting Punta Gorda is I think that's probably the one place that we visit in Belize that really epitomizes the goal of our project, because there is almost no professional medical support in that large province. So that whole area in the south of the country really depends on its local responders to help when something bad happens to someone. So when there's injury or illness, there really is no other option except the people that you live with, your neighbors and your community members, to help you.
Punta Gorda is a very small town. It's one of the most southerly towns in Belize, and one of the reasons why we focus on Punta Gorda is that because of the distance, the travel distance to actually get there, it's over 5 hours by a very long, bumpy bus ride, some poor roads, is that it gets missed. It gets missed because it is so small and it is out of the way. There's very limited resources available to the people of Punta Gorda, so we always try to go to these isolated type communities. A lot of people focus on the big tourist destinations or the major centers, and they don't hit these small outlying areas that really, really need it because they don't have the resources available to them.
Like Bandage's course with the students of Sacred Heart College, the training scheduled for today will be with a group of school-aged kids.
Been working a lot with the Red Cross and kind of come up with a plan of exactly what they need. It's a perfect opportunity to have them in a classroom setting because they'll graduate and go back out into their community, and they'll have jobs at resorts, they'll have jobs at restaurants, and they'll have that training. So it's really our education is being dispersed as these students graduate, which is exactly what we want. With the looks of things, it's going to be a junior high school type of class. So we're just
14 to 16 sort of thing.
And I think what we'll do is we'll repeat exactly what we did in Santa Elena. Yeah. Same course format that we did in Santa Elena, and won't go too in depth with A&P or anything like that. We're just going to focus on intro, getting into the CPR, hands-on stuff. We won't get into AEDs because they don't have them here.
Well, the advantage too, I mean, with teaching a group like this is this fits in nicely with their daily schedule.
It's going
They're
to be
used to studying and paying attention. So hopefully this will be attentive.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good.
I think it's going to be a good day.
A blessing on the work of the Red Cross in its work in protecting human life, in preserving human dignity, and in developing friendship and understanding between all people. May we be given the grace as Red Cross members to spread love and service to help all mankind. Amen.
Has anybody here ever taken a first aid course before? None? Zero?
Daryl and his team teach many different groups throughout Belize and are flexible when preparing courses. Daryl works with the Red Cross to identify the needs of each community that Bandage International will visit.
That's the big thing, is that at no point do we ever say, we're going here and we're teaching this. It's, we're coming, what do you want? And that's how we put it to them. If they want to learn about snake bites for a week, we'll teach about snake bites for a week. That's what they want. If that's where they think that their need is, then that's what we'll do.
Their openness and their willingness to work with us, not for us and not leading us. We work as partners. There are some groups that come with their own agenda, so definitely they would push their agenda ahead. However, with Bandage International, they build our capacity, and we have become very strong partners.
Training consists of emergency scene safety and CPR, but can also be as basic as a lesson on the proper use of medical gloves, and even some lighthearted team-building exercises.
Everybody here have two hands? So no hands should be left out, right? All good? So close your eyes, reach your hands into the middle of the circle. Close your eyes, hands into the middle of the circle. Grab some hands, both hands in, all hands in. Way to go, guys, can't let go. Untie yourselves.
Okay, I said the wrong time.
It's a team building exercise, and it focuses on communication and proper communication, as well as people stepping up to be leaders. Now you guys gotta do that again. Just all stuck your hands in. It can be done. You guys are tied right. You guys are good to go. I did it one run with no blindfolds or anything else like that, and you pick out the key people that are your leaders, the ones that will stand up in a group and talk and discuss things and say, okay, let's go this way. So then what you do is you blindfold that person, and then you make some other people have the inability to talk. So then what it forces the other people that are more shy to have to improve their communication, explain to the person that's blindfolded what the next step is and enough information that they know to follow, as well as they're now leading the show because the other people that were more vocal lose the ability to communicate during that exercise. Who would you say is the group leader here? Yeah? You're blindfolded. Who's the next group leader? I don't have any more blindfolds. Who? She is? You can't talk. Okay? Ways go. Somebody else has to step up. So if you're the shyest person in the class and something happens and you're there by yourself, you have to be able to step up and make a decision and help that person, right? So, and that's what this forced you guys to do, is to communicate, because somebody was blindfolded, so you had to explain to that person what's happening.
The team completes the day's training in Punta Gorda. They say goodbye to the students and begin the return trip north to the island of Ambergris Caye. With a few stops along the way, it will be hours before they land. They will arrive not long before the sun goes down.
Traveling from Punta Gorda, dismantling an entire course setting, mannequins and airway support tools and bandages and splints and all that stuff, and putting it on a taxi, getting to an airfield, getting it into the plane, following that plane several stops, from one place to another through Belize. By the time you get out to the next stop, like San Pedro, yes, it's time for a rest.
This is non-stop. We finished teaching in Punta Gorda. By the time we actually got to our hotel to sit down and have supper here in San Pedro, it was a 6.5-hour adventure. Oh, it's good to be back. How are things?
This is the pool where everything happened.
Tomorrow morning, the Bandage International team will be teaching in San Pedro. It's a town where the training they've provided has saved a life.
And I was working that day, I was going to come to knock out soon. So I came from the south side. When my daughter came from the pool running, shouting that the guy had drowned it. So we took off running and we arrived to the location. We saw the kid actually underwater, floating below.
Unknown to Coy, the boy in the pool was his nephew, Einar.
We jumped in, managed to take him out, and his father was with me, helped me out with the procedures. They checked the pulse and all of that.
Did he have a pulse at that time?
No.
He had no pulse?
No pulse.
Coy lives on Ambergris Caye, Belize's most popular tourist area, an island of sandy beaches with a busy, vibrant nightlife. Despite many visitors, it has an almost non-existent healthcare system. The nearest hospital is an hour-long boat ride away. This is where the team will be spending the next few days.